this. I like the way. I'm glad we have Jay Johnson who's smart enough to know we'll win a game, fine, but we're not going to extend. And especially the football.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Oh my God, is it your home?
This is the humble abode.
Oh my God, humble.
FX presents Adults.
You don't know your social security number?
No, I do. It's just my mom knows the whole thing.
A new comedy about 20-somethings achieving zero anythings.
What is the worst that happens? I go broke. I can't pay my loans. I start an OnlyFans, but only you guys subscribe.
I can't do OnlyFans.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it on there. So sorry.
FX's Adults, Wednesdays on FX. All episodes streaming on Hulu.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The following liner is courtesy of Frank Caliendo. Check out Frank online at frankcaliendo.com.
Listen to The Drive with Wes Neighbors. I mean, Wes played at Alabama and he worked on the sled. I mean, it all comes down to the sled. I mean, I love the sled. Wes knows what I'm talking about. But as for Steve, Steve, he's one of those guys. The only sled he knows about was the one on Snowy Hill. Boom.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Owens Crossroads, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 326 Sutton Road very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Owens Crossroads.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
We'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
It is Is it Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday. Welcome into a Thursday. These days are running together. Steve Moulton here with you, along with Brian Temple.
Hey.
We have another shortened show for you here today. And evidently, mass exodus happened earlier today up in Asheville, North Carolina, where they decided absolutely nothing. The conference commissioners, the ESPN headline is fantastic. CFP leaders say everything is on the table after the meetings wrap up. So everything is on the table.
So maybe they need a busboy.
Everything is on the table. I mean, this is the equivalent of showing up for Thanksgiving dinner and not eating. If everything's on the table, can we stick to 12? I mean, is there any possibility? No, that is probably not going to happen.
Okay, riddle me this, Batman. Have we gotten to a point where they're just not going to do anything? Because everybody's talking about, well, Congress has stepped down. Well, they have to do it. And over the history, people complain about congressional oversight and stuff, but it's only because you didn't take care of it yourself and somebody had to.
Yeah.
So now have they just given up or are just waiting for Congress to step in or what?
An issue moving forward, one thing that I have learned coming out of the spring meetings, and then it was kind of reinforced this week in Asheville, is that this alignment between the SEC and the Big Ten may have hit a bump. And it has a lot to do with the SEC releasing that document on the last day. I'm not sure if we tweeted that out. The full document. You know what? The full document is over in the corner office because I brought it up. I'm going to scan it and just put it out there for everybody to read, because there has been a lot of portions of it that has been released, but I'll tell you, I'll show you the full document, and it's called the Gauntlet. And there was a comedy routine that Dennis Leary did. This was early 90s, basically saying it's one of my favorite comedy routines. It's one of my brother's favorite comedy routines. But Dennis Leary's a funny guy anyway. And the subject is, I cannot believe I have to get angry about this blank. Well, I'm getting there with Josh Pate. Because Josh Pate, who is a friend of this show, a friend of this station, it comes on the morning show a good bit, went into this playoff debate. The 5+11 versus the AQ. The SEC is fully on board with the 5+11. Why are they? Because they are getting it clarified more clearly on how the selection committee is using strength of schedule moving forward. And then that rolls into what I was talking about with the Gauntlet. The last day, there was like maybe 20 media members in that room, and we all got the 7 or 8 page document of the Gauntlet. It was a study of which teams statistically are ranked higher at the end of every year. Not just Alabama, not just Tennessee, not just Texas, everybody, even Mississippi State. But here's how Josh Pate put it. This was released or dropped, as the kids like to say, yesterday. Here is the old married man himself, Josh Pate.
Because you remember, it wasn't too long ago. It was just a few weeks ago where everyone was up in arms because the SEC and the Big Ten supposedly, allegedly, reportedly, they both wanted that AQ format. Remember that? Remember when it felt like it was like the axis of evil over here in college football, and they're all for guaranteeing themselves 4 spots apiece in the playoff, and everyone was bent out of shape about it. And then the SEC came out and said, whoa, we don't want that. We actually want the 5+11 model. Did you notice how that happened? We talked about it on the show once, but were you ever curious about why one would want one and the other would want the other? With that in mind, as I tell you why I think the 5+11 would be a disaster, I just want to remind you of something. Status quo is not going to maintain itself. And I don't mean the playoff format. Of course, the playoff format's going to change. At least we think it is. We just don't know what the format's going to look like. I'm not even talking about the playoff format. As you decide which of these formats you're a bigger proponent of, you need to remember the selection process itself is about to change. And if the SEC being in favor of the 5+11 model doesn't already make sense to you, I'm about to make it crystal clear why the SEC wants the 5+11. This is from Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, earlier today. I'm going to show you 2 things. I want you to listen very closely. Quote, Clark, he's talking about Rich Clark and the college football playoff staff have spent the last several weeks studying ways to create data points to be used in playoff selection that are more heavily weighted on a team's strength of schedule, even using outside mathematicians and data analysts to assist in the endeavor. I've reminded you of this a few times. It kind of congruent to all this debate happening, they've been working behind the scenes to do something that in and of itself I'm a fan of, and that is streamlining the way we define strength of schedule and strength of record so that we get beyond the you are what your record says you are nonsense that is mostly a lie in college football because of how different strength of schedules are. Okay, so what Ross Dellinger's telling you here is the big boys realize they play tougher schedules. Therefore, they're more likely to have losses on their resume than a team that's pretty good that runs through a G5 schedule. And they're looking at it and saying, we need to be able to better define what a 10-2 means here versus a 10-2 there when it comes to playoff selection. And on its surface, I got no problem with that. But here's what you need to understand. That right there is the gateway for the SEC in a 5+11 model, getting 6, 7, 8 teams, getting half the field in the playoff.
Why should that be a negative? I listen, I know I'm talking to SEC country fans right here, right now, especially with our stick being in Union Grove, Alabama. But at the heart of it, and this goes to the Dennis Leary callback from earlier this segment, I don't believe I'm going to have to get angry about this. Why wouldn't you want the best teams in the tournament? Why wouldn't you want that? Why, just even if it was the Big Ten, the Big Ten truly taking over college football, as we've all heard over the last couple of years, if it's 6 or 7 Big Ten teams, and I'm not sitting here crowing just because it's the SEC. I think I want, and I've been on board and I've said it out loud several times. Lane Kiffin came out and said, you know what? All 16. Let's just put all 16, no automatic qualifiers. Let's just have all the 16 best teams if we're going to 16. We're staying to 12 this year. But the 5+11 at least adds a little bit of value to conference champions, which I know was a big deal. It still is a big deal for the college football playoffs and people that run that. But why is it so hard for people to get on board of wanting the best teams in the tournament? I don't believe I have to get angry about this. I want, at least me, and there's probably a fair number of college football fans out there that are fed up, that are just, you know what? I will watch the games, but all this, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. I'm tapping out. I'm done. Because we're getting conversations like this, and Josh is very knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about, but in this regard, he's worried about automatic qualifiers for the Big Ten. You know, the 4 + 4 + 2 + 3, those automatic qualifiers. I just want the best teams in the tournament. And I would like to believe that I'm speaking to a lot of rational people that are going, well, yeah, I mean, that's what I would want too. I want the best college football teams to play for the college football playoff national championship. Josh.
In any given year, because as you know, the SEC already plays a very difficult schedule every year. They would move to 9-game conference schedules in this format, which just means they play another opponent in the SEC. Now, you think to yourself, well, that would hurt them because that means that they add another, 8 losses. Yeah, that's true. But here's what you need to understand. That loss ain't going to mean as much anymore when they are redefining how strength of schedule and strength of record is calculated. Let's continue. Ross Dellinger, part 2. College football playoff expansion to 16 may hinge on the selection criteria change. What he's saying is the SEC, in fact, I'll just continue reading. He tells you what he's saying. You don't need me. He continues. The SEC's move towards an AQ-heavy format was stymied as pushback from even its coaches shifted the league to a format with a bigger at-large pool if selection criteria is adjusted. Translation, the SEC coaches looked around, the SEC ADs looked around and said, if we can redefine how the playoff committee selects the teams, if we can redefine how strength of schedule is calculated, if we can crystallize it that the SEC gauntlet is tougher to go through, and that is mathematically baked in to playoff selection, then we'd love the 5+11 format because we're going to get our conference champ in. But do you realize how many more SEC teams would litter the top 16 in this format? I'm not even against the recalibration of the strength of schedule metric per se. I'm just warning you, if you were a proponent of 5+11, you are advocating for a world where the SEC is going to dominate the playoff field. Now,
for now, I mean, I don't know what college football is going to look like in 2 years, 3 years. I mean, yes, if you go off of history, there has been a long run over the last 21 years that the SEC has dominated a lot of college football. That there's no doubt about that. But there at the beginning, it was the top 2 or 3, and then there was a gap. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. There was a gap in between. Listen, I just want the best teams to make the college football playoff. Now, I'm going to try not to interrupt Josh. And again, if you want to see the full Josh Paid video, it's over on YouTube. I'm sure it's on a few other places as well. I subscribe to Josh. And again, he very knowledgeable. But on this front, listen to this rationale for down the stretch in regular season play.
if you want that, okay. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, first off, one conference is going to have a chokehold, a death grip on the amount of teams they put in the playoff field. But the second part is not only does that happen, it happens at the expense of the regular season. Because what kind of urgency do you have on games anymore? What kind of urgency do you have when you know, I mean, SEC teams minimum know they can afford to lose 3 games in that format. It doesn't matter. You remember?
I'm sorry, Josh. We just listen, and I know there is an adjustment, but the last test results from last year showed us that a 9-3 team can't get in unless you win your conference championship.
Remember how big a deal your first loss used to feel like? The second loss doesn't even feel like that anymore in this kind of format. You know, you can still afford to lose another one. So I can't overstate enough how disastrous to me the 5+11 model would be for competitive balance, but also for the sanctity of the regular season, which is really what I care about first and foremost. Like, I care about the regular season above and beyond the playoff itself. So any playoff model I advocate for is going to be one that crystallizes maximum value on the regular season, which is by 10 miles, the one that the Big Ten is trying to push right now.
All right, Josh. Can they just go earn it? Can the teams just go earn it on the field? Because to me, putting automatic qualifiers inside the Big Ten and the SEC, we will have a conversation if the Big Ten gets their way when you get into late October. Well, who's battling for fourth? Do we all want to have that conversation? Who's the fourth best team in the Big Ten? Who's the fourth best team in the SEC? Do we really want to have that conversation? Again, I just want the best teams in the college football playoff. If it means more Big Ten teams, if it means more ACC teams, sorry, Drew. If it means more SEC, I just want the best teams to make the college football playoff. Bottom line. That's what and to me, the 5+11 makes the most sense to go earn it. But there's going to be a lot of eyeballs and a lot put on this committee for this season and how, remember, this is straight seeding this year. It's not Clemson moving in from outside to get bumped in. Well, actually, you know what? That's a bad example because the 5+11 would be the potential of an outside conference winner getting in. But there's 11 at large. That's why, if you were listening from the very beginning, I don't have a single problem with what Lane Kiffin had to say on just, you know what? No automatic qualifiers. Give me the best 16, but that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. What is going to happen is had a conversation with Jeff Francoeur and talked a little college football with he would have been a Clemson product had he gone to Clemson rather than the Atlanta Braves. But he is on the call tonight as the Braves look to sweep out the Mets. Well, by the way, heck of a job by the bullpen last night as Chris Sale went 8 2/3, but a nice job by Raisel Iglesias to come in for, I think, 2 or 3 pitches for the final out. Braves winners last night, and that was impressive to watch. On the subject of baseball before our first time out, boy, that's a tough way to end your season there if you're a fan of the Hogs. Was watching a lot of that as well. LSU moves on to play a team that has now won 26 games in a row. We talked about it a little bit yesterday of Coastal Carolina. Goodness gracious, that team scoring 6 runs in the first inning, just ripping right through all the way to the College World Series championship. And by the way, we will have that coverage for you Saturday night, then again Sunday afternoon, and if need be, Monday night for the best of 3 there. Let's go ahead and take our first time out. Phone line's open to you if you'd like to react to anything off of that diatribe there in the first segment, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All good things must come to an end. That holds true for employee pricing, too. Hey, folks, it's Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. The last day for employee pricing is going to be July 7th. Up until then, you can buy the new Ford you want and pay what we pay. We've got nearly 150 F-150s to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Had your eye on a Bronco Sport? It's employee priced, and we've got over 60 to choose from. Full-size Bronco, we've got over 40. New shipments of Explorer, Expedition, and Escape have just hit the ground too. Again, all things must come to an end, and the last day for employee pricing is July 7th. Time to hit it and get it. Employee pricing can save you up to thousands off MSRP. With over 600 Fords to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find exactly what you need. Woody Anderson Ford. It's important to see us before July 7th.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
We are walking you up to Braves baseball. Braves and Metropolitans. Braves looking for the sweep as the Braves handed the Mets another L last night. Had an opportunity to talk to Jeff Francoeur just about an hour ago. Here is that conversation. It does feel like some of the bigger moments for this Braves team this year you've been around for in between cruises and vacations.
Hey, you know what? I told Derek Schiller after last night, Braves CEO and everything, I said, maybe I should get a raise or something. Maybe we can redo this contract thing for me. But no, I mean, it's been an exciting 2 games. And, me and Tom, of course, were talking about it before the first game 2 nights ago. And we said, sometimes when you play teams that are, at the top of the division, a little better, it can pique your interest, man. And it can get you going. And as far as I'm concerned, these 2 nights, we've kind of seen that. And, you hope Strider can just pick up right where Sale left off, man. And, if you can get a sweep here, you talk about confidence headed down to Miami. The Marlins are really scuffling, and then you go up to New York for 4 next week for a big series. So it's this was the time they had to get hot.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, to show ownership, to show people that were in this thing. Because I've said, if you go look at the schedule right before the All-Star break, I mean they got 10 pretty winnable games. So if you can run this tough part here. And drop an 8-5, 9-4, man, and run that into there, boy, it's big.
Well, in all of this heat that Snit is taking, I feel like it's a bit unfair considering it does even feel like even these two games, which have been big, is masking a bigger issue in the bullpen.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, that's the hard thing. You know, I laugh sometimes because, you know, I think it's well documented. People know Snit is one of my close friends. He's a major ally of mine, and I love that man. Now, do I agree with everything he does all the time? No. But with that being said, you know, I do think when you look down in the bullpen, man, like, he does not have a lot of great options, a lot of just A-plus options. And I think that's difficult because that's something the last 3-4 years we've had is a great bullpen. And so I will tell you this, seeing Iglesias' last 4 outings have been very helpful.
Yeah.
If you can get him back into a good spot along with Dylan Lee and stuff and Pierce Johnson, you feel a lot better about it. And you got to believe that Alex is going to go get an arm or two at the deadline with that, if that's the case.
Yeah. It is, to me, shortstop is a bit of an issue. How solid do you think are bullpen or shortstop? What's a bigger issue in your mind for this team?
Bullpen for me, and this is why I say it, because if Michael Harris and Ozzie Albies can hit like we need them to hit, then you know, you'll take all the defense you can at shortstop and be done. And I think this offseason, that's going to be a massive priority. Shortstop's tough to fix, man, with just bringing somebody in off the scrap heap.
Yeah.
You know, I look at a lot of times, that's going to be one of those positions that, unfortunately, you're going to have to spend some money and you're going to have to go get somebody. I don't know what that looks like, who it is, but I think in the quick term, I would rather have another arm or two down there to really shore things up, because you're seeing you've got the starting pitching, man, to put you over the top when you go to a playoff series.
Yeah. No, I mean, there is no doubt that the arms, especially on the starter side, all you can do is give yourselves a shot, and the Braves certainly have that on the starting rotation.
Yeah, I agree. You look at what they're doing, and that's even with losing, you know, AJ Smith-Shawver. I mean, it wasn't ideal, but you go into a darn playoff series, and you tell me you got Sale, Strider, Schwellenbach. You know, I'll put that up against any team right now in baseball.
Yeah, but I say that to also say I don't know baseball nearly as well as you do. But to me, even watching this Dodger-Padre series, that almost feels like a different game that they're playing out there in the NL West.
It's strong right now. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you that NL West, man, for TBS, I did the Dodgers Mets 2 weeks ago out there, and I mean, that's a tough lineup to navigate. Pages is having a massive year, you know, the length of that lineup. But that's, you know, that's what we talk about all the time with the Braves, right? For all these years, the depth of the lineup, being able to score in innings where you're at the bottom part of the lineup. We did that better than almost any team for years. We're not doing it this year. So again, as good as things have been, I pointed out in the pregame last night, Michael Harris, Ozzie Albies, these guys have got to step up.
Yeah. And with the way the schedule looks, there is that one road trip, I think, out to Sacramento to play the Athletics. But to me, the back half of this schedule looks a lot more manageable than the front half of the schedule.
Think about this, man. After the All-Star break, you ain't going west at all.
Wow.
I mean, you don't have to go west at all. And that is a massive difference for this team. And so, again, sometimes a team, it's so hard in this game because you're like, man, why can't they just turn it on and get going? And sometimes it doesn't happen right away. And it can be frustrating. You get there sitting there going, why aren't we playing better? But maybe this is the kick in the butt they needed, playing this part of the series with the Mets and some of these teams to really bring it out of you. Because you go really look, I mean, outside that first road trip, I mean, the Braves took 2 or 3 from the Phillies earlier in the year.
Yep.
You know, they took 2 or 3 from Boston when they were up in Boston. So, like, this team's capable of that. We know that. You've seen it the last 2 nights. It's can they do it consistently?
Yeah, and it's boy, and then Strider going tonight. It feels like it's taken him a minute to get back into it, but that last start at least gave me some hope.
Well, the velocity for me. When you
Yes.
start seeing 97, 98, now people have to start earlier to cheat on the slider. And then a slider doesn't have to be as great. Do I think someday Spencer's going to have to learn to pitch at 94, 95? Probably. Everybody does at some point. But for him right now, to have that 97, 98 in the tank, you just, as a hitter, I tell people this all the time, the difference between 94 and 97, 98 is a massive difference. And a lot of hitters, when you're going 97, 98, have to get started early. They have to cheat a little bit. And what happens when you do that, then they're susceptible to that slider and off speed. So, man, hopefully if we see that tonight again, you feel like 2 starts in a row of 97, 98, that his arm is back.
Yeah. I talked to Ben Ingram earlier in the week. I didn't want to put too much on this series, but honestly, the way the Braves came back in game 1, and we saw what Sale did last night as well. I know it's a marathon. I get that it's a marathon, but this does feel like a big part of the schedule before the All-Star game.
Well, I think these 13 games were the swing games of the year at this point because of what we talked about, because of their schedule before the All-Star break, very winnable games. I think, and all of a sudden you look at it, it's like, man, you've played all your teams out in the West Coast. You don't play the Dodgers anymore. You don't play the Padres anymore. San Fran's got to come here. Like, it really shapes up for a good schedule. So if you can dent when you're playing the Mets, when you're playing the Phillies, like I said, these 13 games, man, if you can go 9-4 or so, 8-5, I mean, think about it. You win tonight, then all you're asking the team to do is go 6-4 in the next 10 games, which is very reasonable. And then you've got a 9-4, 13-game thing that's gotten you back in it. You're getting close to 500, and you have a very favorable schedule before the All-Star break.
With as much as the game has changed, right? You referenced A.J. Smith-Shawver earlier and hate that that injury occurred. But at one point, it was, I think, the start before he got hurt, he threw a ball and then tapped his head, for the minor league system. And when he tapped his head, I just started joking, going, yeah, that ain't going to happen for a minute. But then I was thinking, why not? I mean, so much has changed in the game. Why can't we have this challenge system? I'm ready for this challenge system right now. What about you?
I'm great with it, man. What's funny about baseball is people hate change in baseball more than any other sport. It gets ridiculed. It gets whatever. I remember when people were getting hit with foul balls and they put the nets up.
That's right.
And fans started griping. You're going to block our view. What happened 2 months later, dude? No one's even talking about it. No one ever even mentions it. There was a net in front of me. Same thing, the pitch clock. Remember the first month? Oh, there were some things going on. No one even talks about it anymore. The new torpedo bats, right?
That's right.
Well, the same Yankees team went 30 scoreless innings using the torpedo bat. So baseball's a funny game of working its way out. And I thought Austin Riley said it well the other night. You can be on top of the world, and 1 minute later, you can be the laughing stock. And then you can be the laughing stock, and a week later, you're the best team in baseball. So it's a game truly where it is a marathon, not a sprint. But I would love to see it, man. I think it's going to come. And, whether you like it or not, again, we might feel it's awkward. There might be a few people that don't like it at first. But I think we can all agree by the time push comes to shove, everybody's going to be like, oh, yep, it's great.
I mean, we see it here with the Rocket City Trash Pandas and just on the minor league system. And it's so seamless and it worked so quickly. My biggest fear is it's going to happen on the biggest stage. And that's going to be an issue for the game itself to deal with.
It will be. But again, it's no different than this pitch clock. We keep waiting for it to happen on, during the playoffs, during whatever. And we've done it for 2 years now. And the idea of getting a ball, a strike, has not come into play at all. Again, I think, I think most people are for it. And I agree. I don't think it'll be long. You'll see it.
From the national games that you see, do you see maybe a good fit for a potential look at, be it bullpen help or shortstop or somebody that kind of catches your eye? Because I honestly watch. I've been watching too much Major League Baseball this year. I don't know if I'm of that certain age, but big inning, I'm telling you, I mean, big inning feels like it's in my house every day. But is there maybe someone that you see fit-wise and be like, boy, that'd be an interesting fit if that were to come for the Atlanta Braves?
You know, I think I always look at like closers for the Pirates, you know, setup guys, stuff like that, because ultimately it's going to be very interesting because in the American League, man, I mean, the amount of teams that'll shuffle there in the wild card because of these extra teams now, I mean, you really only have 4 or 5 teams probably to try to pick at a little bit, possibly, unless you do a big deal like the Devers deal with San Fran. So I think you can see it. You know, the Diamondbacks have a decent 10. If they slip out of this thing, they're a type team that's always looking for the future too, right? Like, you know, hey, maybe we're at 500, but we don't think with the teams in our division we're going to get over the hump. You could pick a good one there. A place like Seattle, right, that might be thinking, hey, we're still one more year away offensively from being where we want to be, so we feel like we can win that division. And so I always look at teams like that, you know, are maybe not out of it, but are willing to sell more. Tampa Bay's always looking to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have the best record in baseball, and I always feel like they're looking to sell and have a good bullpen. So I think all that stuff flushes itself out and comes out in the thing. And I think that's why it was an important time too, because if this team can keep itself close, they know they can run off big winning streaks.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're these players, you know, we get this thing back to 500 in the right direction, then, you know, Alex and this organization is more apt to go spend money.
Well, I feel one area that I didn't go to was Ronald, and I think I was more expecting 22 Ronald and not 23 Ronald coming off of this. I think a lot of people were, and I said it last night, I think as tough as it was when the Braves were struggling, right, to not bring him back when they did, this is an area where patience was key to this, because and not only does he come back, but you think about it, it's not like, hey, we're playing you 2 games, then you get an off day. Then we're playing you 3 games, you get an off day. Like, he's back and he's playing every day. Yeah.
And so I think that's the good thing, is they waited a little extra longer this time. And I think for Ronald, you know, he's been very adamant that, you know, he got more balls live down in Florida, in the backfields, doing this in spring training, sitting in on bullpens. Like, I think he realized, too, how hard the transition was last time. So as much as you hated it, at least this second time, he knew what to expect coming back.
You've seen the Mets more than I've seen the Mets. Is it a case where the schedule is very favorable, or have we just caught the Mets at the right time?
Well, I think the Mets starting pitching for the first time this year is in a little bit of shambles with some of these injuries. And I think that offensively, you know, the Mets have been very consistent offensively. They've never been this team to go out there and put, you know, 10 runs night after night. But right now, I think the offense is really pushing hard because of some of these injuries. And, you know, I was reading where Frankie Montas, they're hoping to get him back next week. Well, he's been pitching bad in AAA. Now, again, I get it's AAA. You don't know what he's working on, what he's doing. But with that being said, this is the first time. You know, you think about the Mets have the best starting rotation ERA in baseball.
That's right.
And it's slowly kind of going backward. And so I think Mets are a good team. I mean, I think the Mets are going to make the playoffs. Question is, you know, does that starting rotation hold up throughout a season?
Yeah. Well, I always kind of pivot over to the 21 season in terms of buying and selling. And that Mets series, I think it was late July. It feels like that if we're going to know an answer at whether or not the Braves are going to be buyers or sellers, what is it? It's going to be as late as possible, I would imagine.
Yeah, you know, but again, I look at it as one way. If you can go find a bullpen arm ahead of the curve, I think that's one area that you can pull the trigger at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You need that bad. And so maybe they'll go that route. I don't know, but I do know that, you know, I think Alex will be on the hunt. And, you know, if there's one team that we've taken care of for the most part year after year and they hate playing us, it's been the Mets.
That's very fair. I at least wanted to close out with a little college football because I know how big of a Clemson guy you are. But in my world, Dabo took a ton of heat a couple of years ago, but all of a sudden, those young guys are starting to form, and Dabo could have the last laugh this year.
Oh, God, I pray he does. For the Paul Feinbaums, for everybody that has ripped him every which way. I hope he does. And, I've always said this, man. I appreciate Dabo. He's doing it the way that he knows how to do it. And he did not, all these people getting on him, he did not waver and did not change. And I agree, man. He has got a team. And I think sometimes you're seeing that where some of these other programs now, if you don't hit the transfer portal right, you could have a rough year. And you could see that. So, I mean, there's no doubt there are high expectations at Clemson this year. And I can tell you this, August 31st, I will be at Clemson when LSU comes to town.
It's a great game. And by the way, LSU has not won game one since 2019, that special year down there.
Well, good. Well, let's keep it running.
I did bump into Kirby Smart down at the beach and asked him whether or not there was like a secret handshake for the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame. And he said he didn't know. And I said, well, you can ask Frenchie. So I don't know if you two have had that conversation yet.
We did at Pollock's golf tournament. We had a good laugh.
Always enjoyed the time. We'll
Thanks, bud.
It's always great to catch up. Has there been a memorable part of your summer, be it on a cruise ship or traveling and gallivanting?
The best part's coming up. We're going to the beach for 2 weeks here next week. So I'm going to do the Friday night game versus the Phillies here, and then I will be at the beach for 2 weeks with the kids in the ocean every day.
Nice. And the Blueberry Farm still kicking? I mean, I would imagine.
Blueberry Farm, good harvest, man. We had a lot of fun, and so it's been a good run. Just chasing 4 kids and trying to get the Braves turned around.
Are you helping out DeRosa next spring?
I'm not, man. I got my 4 kids with all the games and stuff they got going on. My 6-year-old daughter thinks that her softball games are way more important, and I agree.
Well, I mean, that's an up and coming. I've been having fun watching that professional softball league. So I mean,
it's been fun, man. It's been great. We're actually going to take my daughter's travel team next year, and we're going to go. They have a tournament up there, and so we're going to go there and watch the Women's College World Series. Yeah, it's fun. Man,
I have yet to do that. I have yet to go to Omaha too. But those two things I really want to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, get us a sweep tonight because it all hinges on your color commentary and
exactly
more than anything.
Thanks, pal.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
John Abraham here for Bobcat of Huntsville. Right now till the end of June, you can get 0% financing on the world-famous line of Bobcat skid steers, excavators, mowers, and tractors. Need attachments? They got them. And did I mention 0% as in nada? No financing charge for 48 months. It's like free money. Visit the brand new Bobcat of Huntsville in their tremendous new facilities on Highway 20 in Madison, right next to Redstone Harley-Davidson.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
There is power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
We'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures climbing into the mid-80s, dropping into the mid-upper 60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky for your Friday. It looks like we're probably going to stay dry. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. It is going to feel like it's in the mid and upper 90s. That heat continues as we head into the weekend.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Frenchie, Jeff Francoeur, as Braves are looking for the sweep over the Mets. You'll be able to hear that tonight right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And during that commercial break, I downloaded the game notes for the Indiana Pacers. They do their probable starters on the front page. Sure enough, you got Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, and Tyrese Halliburton. They are going to try to squeeze what they can. It's also been tweeted out as well that Halliburton is giving it a go and going to try to gut it out. We'll see how that works out for the old Pacers there tonight. We'll join that in progress. 256-576-4977, the telephone number, if you'd like to react to anything that we heard from Frenchie right there, be it college football or a little baseball conversation as well. 256-576-4977. The telephone number. I'm of the opinion that tonight's the last night of the NBA Finals. Much like the previous night was the last night of the Stanley Cup Final. But we shall see. It is home court advantage for Indiana, but OKC's just too good. ESPN 104.5 in Baton Rouge put out their power rankings, their quarterback power rankings ahead of this season in the Southeastern Conference. Would just get your temperature on it, see what you think of this, Auburn and Alabama fans. Without saying a word, Auburn and Alabama fans, Auburn and Alabama are ranked 10 and 12, respectively. Jackson Arnold is ranked as the 10th best quarterback of the starters. Ty Simpson is 12th on this list, behind Blake Chapin, the Mississippi State quarterback. Your SEC quarterback power rankings look like this. And by the way, it doesn't start how even I thought it was going to start. There is no hook'em at the top. Lenora Sellers is the number one quarterback, at least from these rankings. Garrett Nussmeier is second, the LSU quarterback. Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback, is ahead of Arch Manning at number 4. That is followed by DJ Lagway. And John, is it Mateer? I think it's Mateer. But I keep wanting to call him Mater. John Mater. I really hope I don't call him John Mater at SEC Media Days. I think it's Mateer. Anyway, Taylon Green is 7th on the list, followed by Austin Simmons, the Ole Miss quarterback. Then Marcel Reed, the Texas A&M quarterback. Then it's Jackson Arnold, Chapin, the Mississippi State quarterback. Then it's Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton, Bo Prevula, the Missouri quarterback, Joey Aguilar, and Zach Calzada is the last man standing. He is going to be the starting quarterback for the Kentucky Wildcats. Those are the power rankings released by ESPN 104.5. We'll see, but interesting to really dive into this a little bit of the fact that Jackson Arnold is ranked above Ty Simpson, and Ty Simpson, the 12th best quarterback in the SEC heading into the season. I know it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish, but certainly did catch my eye on those power rankings. And home field winning percentage was tabulated by the fine folks at the next round, as they have made a nice home for themselves on the YouTube space. This is over the past 5 seasons. Home field winning percentage over the past 5 seasons. It's Georgia undefeated at home at 28-0. I seem to remember the last time Georgia lost at home, I was there. And yes, for those of you wondering, I am still planning on being in Between the Hedges in late September. Alabama is 32-1 over the past 5 seasons at home. That's 97%. Good for second place. Then it's Oklahoma at 26-5, 83%. Then it's Ole Miss. The Ole Miss Rebels are 27-6 at home over the past 5 seasons. So Georgia, Bama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and then LSU. That's your top 5 in terms of home field winning percentage. Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and then LSU. LSU, my eyes are getting worse. 26-6 for LSU. That's followed by Missouri. They've won 79.4% of their home games at 27-7. Then Texas A&M is 25-7. That is the same number for Hook Them, the Texas Longhorns. They're also 25-7. Just behind that is the Tennessee Volunteers. They are 26-8 at home over the last 5 years. Florida is 23-8 at home. South Carolina, then you take a little bit of a dip into double-digit home losses. The South Carolina Gamecocks over the last 5 years, 21-12. Then Kentucky is 21-14. And that leads me to where I wanted to get to now that we're in the last couple of minutes here. I mean, how often do we talk about Auburn being a tough place? And I know it's been a rough 5 years, but the fact that Auburn is 20-15 at home, 20-15 at home are the Auburn Tigers. That
stings.
That's 20-15 are the Auburn Tigers at home over the past 5 seasons. Just ahead of the Arkansas Razorbacks, who are 18-14. Mississippi State is 18-16. And Vanderbilt is 9-22. So, but Auburn, wow. I mean, I know they have fallen off the rails, but to see it in black and white and right in front of your face like that, that is, I guess this would be post-Gus. I mean, wait a second. No, they're probably counting 19. So tail end of Gus, the Boise experiment, and now Hugh, in year 3? I want to say year 3 for
Sounds
Hugh.
right.
So I don't know if your opinion has changed too much of Hugh Freeze, but a little bit for me, especially coming off of what he did at Liberty. We'll see what happens this year at 6-7, 5-7, and then 3-5 and 2-6, respectively in SEC play. 11-14 overall is his record. 5-11 is his Southeastern Conference record. But remember, with all the sanctions that came in during his tenure there at Ole Miss, it looks a little different. But we'll see how good Auburn performs this year more than anything. But Auburn at just 5 games over 500. I know it's been a struggle, but that kind of crystallizes it more than anything for me. Do I have time to sneak in? Maybe I don't. A former Truist Bank employee is suing his boss. This after his boss pranked the former employee by a life-size Chucky doll.
That's uncalled for.
Triggering, evidently, he had a severe phobia of dolls. Do you know anybody like this? I don't know anybody like this.
I don't like them in unexpected places.
Severe, the incident caused PTSD.
Their eyes follow you around the room.
Plus his autoimmune disorder. Yikes.
Yeah. They just stare into your soul.
Let's head over to Truist Field, shall we? Who's going to play the role of Chucky tonight?
Now I'm all creeped out.
All good things must come to an end. That holds true for employee pricing, too. Hey, folks, it's Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. The last day for employee pricing is going to be July 7th. Up until then, you can buy the new Ford you want and pay what we pay. We've got nearly 150 F-150s to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling